are you? There's something after me.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mystery Files, where we delve into the strange and paranormal stories from around the world. Whether you've heard these tales before or they're completely new to you, I promise the experience here will be unlike any other scary story video on YouTube. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the mysteries that await. Watch till end to experience the thrill.
I was back home in the summer for the first time in a year after starting university. Our home was just outside of a small town with forests all around. There was also a small man-made lake, which was diverged from a river that ran for miles through the forest and ramified into a few streams east of the lake. Near my home, there was a small grassy path that led to the river, following a stream. It was a long walk, but one I used to go on often as a child. I knew the forests there well. I knew where I could cut through dense trees to meet the stream. The walk I would go on always led me off the path, which turned northwest slowly, away from the stream, and then took a sharp turn to the west after a few miles. At that point, the stream was hidden quite deep in the forest. I'd spent many days wandering around there, alone or with my dad, over the span of 18 years. I never saw anybody else in the forest. I went there twice that summer, both times alone. The first time, I left in the morning. I walked along the path away from the stream to the sharp bend, then cut back into the forest. I reached the stream after an hour or so. As I was running my hands in the water, I heard a bell from far away, coming from the north. Something was making a bell ring fervently and periodically, which I found strange. I listened closely, wondering if it was a lost hunting dog, and started moving towards the sound. But then I realized it couldn't have been an animal. The bell was too heavy. The sound was too clear to be on a collar. I thought of everything, but nothing explained the sound, except one obvious thing I just didn't feel comfortable admitting. It had to have been a person. I tried to shake off the thought and walked on normally. Until I found a badger, a dead one. Carefully decapitated. It had obviously been done with a knife. The body was fairly fresh, still limp, and there wasn't much of a smell yet. The wound was full of maggots, but I knew that happened soon after exposure. The sound of the bell had been following the stream. So had I. Which meant the badger had been put there, maybe killed there, at least decapitated, while I was walking that way. 1 week later, I went back for the second time that summer. And the last time ever. I left home at around 6 p.m. I made it to the stream, then walked to the river in about an hour. But as it was getting late and raining heavily, I decided to turn back. I walked as fast as I could. The sound of the rain in the trees was surreal, loud, almost deafening. I was trotting with my head down through the clearest and most open part of the forest when I bumped into something heavy. The smell hit me instantly. It was sickening. It was the decomposing body of the badger, with its head strung to its front paws. At first, I just stared at it, frozen in horror. I was already soaked from the rain. My senses were confused. I started half running, half walking away from the stream, heading back towards the path, when I heard the bell again. Panicked, I called my dad while running. I begged him to come fast, told him someone was in the forest. The bell rang longer than it had the last time. On and off. I kept hearing sounds, but I couldn't make out what they were. My mom was screaming on the phone that they were on the path, that I needed to run. I was terrified. I switched to survival mode. Half running, half speed walking, because I was out of breath. Then I heard branches breaking, clear footsteps, for the first time, from deep in the forest. And the bell, louder this time. I didn't want to, but I looked over my shoulder. That's when I saw him. A tall figure, creeping in my direction at the very edge of the clearing, ringing the bell slowly, in front of his stomach. He was staring straight at me. I don't know if I had some hidden sprinting ability or if it was pure adrenaline, but I screamed loud and ran like I've never run before. Something awful was going to happen. I could feel it. I felt like he was right behind me. I kept telling myself not to look back. I was gasping, wheezing, crying so hard, screaming for my dad. I felt the shivers on my neck. Then my mind switched off. I just ran. I even dropped my bag. My phone was my only way home. Things no longer felt real. It was like my legs were moving on their own. I didn't know if the man was still following me. All I could hear was my heart pounding in my ears, and the bell. Finally, I heard my dad shouting my name. I knew he could see me by the tone of his voice. I lunged at him the moment we met. He heard the bell too. My mom heard it on the phone. She was waiting in the car, ready to leave fast.
Thank you for staying with me until the very end. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me bring you even more gripping and thrilling experiences. Until next time, stay curious.